I have a reverend at my church who favorite saying is, "Be who you is, 'cause you can't be who you ain't." And to me, it didn't make sense for the first couple times I heard it until I actually started thinking about it. And she wasn't talking about physically or anything like that. It's you can't be somebody that you're not. You grew up being one person, so don't try to change who you are. Just try to make that person better. Which leads me to agree with the statement. If you want to stand out, don't be different, be outstanding. And that's by Mr. West. And pretty much what he's saying is that when you're being who you are, just be the best person you can be, and that's what will make you stand out. So I want you to think about people who are your friends, your bosses, and your teachers that you consider outstanding. And I know for me personally, my friends who I consider outstanding aren't the best people in the world. They aren't the people who you would run to in times of trouble with a law or things like that, because they're just weird people who I get along with. So the reason I think that I hang out with them as much as I do isn't because of what type of person they are or that they're so much different than me that we aren't compatible, but that they're just good people or they're good at being who they are, and they know who they are, and that's what people like about them is their confidence, and that's what people like about you is as a friend is when you're being the most confident. And then if you think about your teachers, the ones who make the most impact on you are usually the ones who talk to you more, are the ones who spend more time with you, the ones who actually love what they do, are the ones who actually put effort into their teaching. We've all had teachers who don't care, who are close to retirement, who have given up, or just don't like their job. And it reflects in their teaching, and those aren't the ones that are going to impact you the most. The ones who impact you are the ones who are outstanding at what they do. And then at job, there are going to be jobs that you don't like, and there's going to be jobs that you do. There's going to be bosses that you don't like, and there's bosses that you do. If anybody has worked, you already know that so far. Me personally, with my bosses, I know who to go to when I'm having a problem with a customer, and who's going to make the problem worse and who's going to make it better. And it's not that that person is a good or a better boss than the other person. They just have outstandingness about them at their personality or their people skills. So that's what makes them a good boss. That's what makes them an outstanding person. So if you think about the people who are your friends, you think about the people who are your teachers and the people who are your bosses. And the thing that makes them outstanding isn't that they're different, it's that they're good at what they do or that they are committed to doing their thing perfectly.
I do feel like that.
All right, Jameel, I like the quote that you came up with at the introduction, for your introduction, your attention device, and you transitioned to the topic pretty effectively. There's a very good preview of what the structure is going to be, so you've got some plot that you're going to be following and getting to that point. Internally, you did good signposting when you got to each of those points also. I thought each of the ideas was pretty good. They didn't always develop quite as much with the same amount of consistency, but you had something to say on each of those points that was insightful, and I thought that it related to the point that you were trying to make. On the presentation, you project pretty well. You've got a good variety in your voice, in the range in which you speak. Maybe your energy level could be up a little bit, but I thought it came across pretty effectively. Gestures, there are some indicators, but you're also doing a little bit of playing with the quote, so maybe you want to get the quote out of your hand once you've gotten into the speech because you don't need it anymore. I thought your eye contact with the audience was really solid. It's well distributed throughout the presentation. You're always trying to make sure that you're kind of scanning and looking everywhere at some point or other. You're not just focusing on one person in the room. Sometimes that happens in here that people, they just start talking to me. They see me looking up or making notes, or they start looking at the camera and they forget everybody else is around. I thought you did a good job about distributing your attention. Your posture is good. You seem pretty confident, but you do seem glued to that one particular spot. Don't be shy about doing some of that walking the transition thing that we talked about. You don't have to walk all the way across the room, but a step or two might indicate that you're a little bit more animated and that your confidence comes from, knowing what you're talking about, not just, I've got control over the nervousness in my legs. I like the fact that at the end you came back to the point that you were trying to make, and you had a pretty good exit line at that point. All right, thank you.